Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Stealing Chanel. This is a movie that probably I would have never guessed would have been on Disney Plus. This is not through Hulu. In fact, I would have expected it to be on Hulu, and it might be on Hulu, but it's also individually on Disney Plus. It's a romantic comedy. It says it's a romantic comedy, and I'll get to that in a minute. But this is from 2015. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It it has certain elements of a romantic comedy, but I don't know if they successfully capture that in the film. You know what? I try to find something good to say about everything I watch. I mean, even if it's horrible, even if it's confusing, whatever it is, I look for the best in things. I don't get off on making content that is, everything's bad and it sucks. Oh, isn't that great? Won't you like to see me talk bad about more stuff? No, I don't do that. It's annoying, and it's just too weak-minded, clickbaity kind of BS. I just don't do that. But there's some things that are really difficult to like. This is a movie that feels like it was a New York City play, off Broadway, off Broadway. It takes place in New York City. I'm sure it feels like it was shot in New York City, unless they did a really good job of faking it. But there's plenty of people around, and many of them are staring at the camera as they're filming. Normally, when you film these things, movies like this, you block off the street. You get permits to do that, and you get extras to be people walking through your scenes, where they don't look at the camera, where they don't do stuff. They shot around them, and there's at least one situation where you see our characters in the foreground having a conversation, or even like a full shot, like a full head to toe shot. But further back in the shot is a woman on her phone, just sort of like, what's going on there? Like, and then they cut away close up for a second. They cut back, and she's gone, like instantaneously, just Thanos out of existence. So yeah, I don't think they got the permits. But either way, this feels like an off-Broadway play. It's acted like it's an off-Broadway. It's written like it's an off-Broadway play. It's so very specific to such a specific audience that would. It's like, in LA, where Hollywood writers like to write stories about the struggles of Hollywood writers, or Hollywood actors, or Hollywood producers or directors, and they like to do movies about themselves because you write what you know. Yeah, that's kind of what this is. And I feel like somebody wrote and directed this and said, hey, you know what? Let's make a movie about all the stuff we know. We know about fashion. We know about also stealing fashion, apparently. I don't know. I don't know how much they know about anything, but they made a movie that was about a guy who grew up learning about the best of fashion, the best of fashion and style and everything else from his dad. Like his dad would test him as a small child. We see it, by the way, we see an early scene in this film, not with his dad, but with his mom most of the time. No, just his mom. We see him as a young child learning, one, to choose clothing and then steal it. I guess it happened after his dad died. So he was really little when dad was like, hey, here's two pieces of silk, sniff them and tell me which ones they are. And if he got it right, he'd take them for ice cream. It seemed like a trick. I don't know. It seemed like there's a tic-tac-toe playing chicken somewhere that's like out of a job because this kid could smell silk, the difference between silks. I don't know if that's a thing that people in the fashion industry can do. Maybe textile people. I don't know. It's entirely possible, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this textile, he understands textiles and fashion, and he steals it. His livelihood is going into stores, for friends or clients or buddies, just who want certain things, like, oh my gosh, I got to have this kind of outfit, or the shirt or the suit even. Could you get me these things? And people pay him a fraction of what you would pay in the stores. And he's not going into a Kohl's or a Target. He's going to the high-end stores at Fifth Avenue and beyond in New York City, and he plays off because he's got fashion and style himself. So he goes in there and nobody bats an eye at a man who's got this much money and would be so bold as to steal thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars worth of clothing without ever being caught. Well, he was at a situation where he was eventually going to get caught. Well, that happens soon after he meets Chanel. By the way, his name is Giorgio Bene, played by Adam Lavorgna, and Chanel is Lydia Hurst. I don't recognize anybody in this movie. Maybe Carol Alt. She plays Evie, and yeah. So, by the way, also I'll get to hopefully I remember this thing that I wanted to say, but it'll make more sense later. As he's stealing things from this high-end store, this girl, Chanel, walks up to him and goes, "Hey, are you shoplifting?" And there's the meet cute. Of course, they're destined to become lovers and fall in love or whatever. This is, by the way, I said it wasn't meant for Disney Plus. It's not meant for the Hallmark Channel. It's not. There's got lots of swearing and sex, and there's no nudity or anything else. But it just feels like this is the last place you'd put a movie that has no connection to anything else. Like if one of these actors was like on Andor, or one of the Marvel, like a supporting character in a Marvel film, or a lead actor in a Marvel film, and this is something they did in their early days or something, you know what, you'd put it on here and go, you want to see something else from this actor? He was in this. Nope. Whoever got this on Disney Plus knows somebody, apparently. Because as I was saying, this feels like a movie that was originally a play, written, acted, directed, everything was a New York City off-Broadway play. And every single moment, it feels ad-libbed at times, which can be a good thing, because it feels more, you would think it feels more natural, more the dialogue and the back and forth. But in this case, no. There are stilted conversations with people you assume know each other really well, but it's words that people would never say to each other in real life. This is made specifically by people who know just this industry, just the fashion and textiles and everything else, and then throw in that curveball of what's it like if there was a guy amongst us who stole all of our stuff. And what if we threw in a therapist, because we're all in therapy, who is also a rich girl, because we're also rich people, and she decides that she's going to take on this. I know it's already confusing. To take on this challenge of giving therapy that he does not want to the shoplifter, the high-end fashion shoplifter, to figure out why he does what he does, and how she can do what she can do to take that desire away from him. And it's an exercise in cruelty for an hour and 40 minutes in more ways than one. Let's just say that he first denies her. He's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. But once he gets arrested, which I'm pretty sure was her fault. Like, she, understand, this is a rich girl who really doesn't have to have a job. Her parents really deride her and come down on her for having a job that is beneath her. She works for a guy who sexually harasses her constantly. Like, hey, here, I'll let you do that thing you want to do if you just give me a lap dance. Come on. I mean, I realize this stuff does happen, but man, there's no subtlety to that. I mean, I realize that it's meant to be funny, but it's not. It's even, yeah, it's just not. It's it's not that I'm really mad that they had sexual harassment. No, there are people who have done sexual harassment in movies, and I understand how it can be funny, but no, not in this case. Make sure he has his comeuppance here and there, but so she works for a horrible person. She is not. Her parents don't appreciate her for what she's trying to do, rather than just being a rich girl in Manhattan. And even when she's conversating with her parents, just it doesn't feel real or natural or anything that anybody would ever say to each other. Mom, at one point in the middle of the conversation, while lounging on the couch, just decides to put her martini on her head as she's sitting there, and they go out of the scene on that shot of her in the frame with a martini on her head. I guess it was funny. That might be the funniest thing. I don't know. So anyway, Chanel, not just stealing Chanel products, but Chanel fashion. But man, he's going to steal Chanel's heart. No. And again, like this, you'd figure this would be this feels like it would be the kind of thing you'd want to watch if you're like, I'm all out of Hallmark movies and Christmas things, and I'm going to watch this romantic comedy about beautiful people who are in the fashion industry or are rich or are therapists and then are cruel to each other for laughs. And she's the cruel one. You'd figure, okay, he's not a great guy in the first place, even though he does it to steal from the rich and give to the slightly less rich the fashion that they deserve. He's the Robin Hood of Manhattan fashion. It's a loaded premise, but she does her best to try to break him of this, even to the point where he ends up in jail. She warns him that at some point he's going to end up in jail, and but she's going to change his life to make it so that he won't have to do this eventually. And at some point, I'll get to that eventually. And again, I'm ruining everything on this. I'm spoiling everything on this. I don't care. If you didn't see it already, which again, 99.9% of you probably have not, this is a warning. So, again, I try to find something good in everything, but I'm going to still go on way too long talking about this. He eventually does end up in jail, and of course she's like, hey, I'll get you out. And like, you're a rich girl who's a therapist, and you're just going to get a guy out of jail for stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff from a Russian-run clothing store? We'll get to that, too. He's like, nope, I'm not giving in to your thing. I'm not doing your thing you want to do. I'm going to avoid you at all costs. And of course, then he's in prison, and there's a big guy who wants to make him his puppy dog, basically. It's just, that it's going to be, it's funny. And as the big guy cuddles up with him in his bunk when he wakes up to find this man wrapped around him at one point. Imagine in prison, it's never that romantic. Just saying. I'm just saying. He eventually breaks down and gives her a call and says, get me out of here. And apparently she can do that because she's rich and her father knows the judge. And the judge exists in the scene during the sentencing just to provide exposition for us to learn all the ways that Giorgio is able to steal things. The special suitcase he uses, the strapped, these bungee cords or whatever he puts on his body that allows him to put the clothing on under his clothing or his coat and walk out with it. It gives us an overly obvious scene that clarifies it. That this is how he does it. He just doesn't stick it in his pocket and walk out. He doesn't do that. He is a mastermind, and he's talented at this. He's good at it. He grew up doing it because his mom, after his dad died, I imagine, mom is always begging for money, always trying to get money out of him, and they have a miserable relationship because she's always gambling it away. She has her own addiction. This is also a movie about addiction and all the wrong ways to deal with it. I don't know. Yeah. So eventually, without even, like, it's supposed to, I guess, be romantic or hot at some point, and they just knock it out real quick after knowing each other hardly at all. And yes, beautiful people apparently do that all the time, right? So they basically sleep together pretty quickly, and then it's just like, oh, how are we going to deal with this? Dad catches them. And by the way, this feels like a porn without all the sex in it. It's like you get the opening kissing and touching real quick, and then it's everybody hanging out under the sheets talking about it afterwards, but without cigarettes. Because I don't know, Disney Plus might not have let them put it on there if it had cigarettes. I don't know. Either way, it just doesn't seem to work out. It feels like I was just watching something really softcore, and it still didn't even bother putting that stuff in there, let's say. I'm like, you might as well at this point. I mean, it's so eventually they get together, but are they together? Do they care about each other? She basically tortures him through various publicly humiliating ways that will hopefully trigger a response in him that would make him not be a shoplifter anymore. And it's funny to us. It's not funny. It's just not funny. I wish I could say it was. He gets very upset. He pounds the ground a lot. He freaks out on people. He just does this. And yeah. None of these people are likable. That's kind of the problem. I can't say that the actors are horrible people, or, the people who made this film are horrible, but you connect with nobody. If you're looking at a romantic comedy, there's different levels you can connect with the audience. Comedy being the most easy one. Well, technically, comedy's hard, but also you can connect with people by making them laugh and go, I like that person. That person is funny. They said the right thing at the right time that made me connect with them in a way that it feels like they understand me and I understand them. Okay, that's good. That's good. But it's not the case. Or romantic. If it's romantic, you put yourself in the situation where you empathize and you become one person or the other who is the lead character in the story or the supporting character. You're the guy, the girl, the guy, whatever it is, whatever the romantic connection is, you can usually put yourself in the spot of those people and go, I want to make this work. I hope this works. Even if it's just a little bit where you just identify with somebody and go, I've been wronged in the past, but maybe this time it'll work. And that's kind of always the hump that you got to get over when it comes to a romantic comedy or just a romantic story. It's like, am I going to be betrayed again? Oh, they betrayed me, but can I work it out? Is there forgiveness? And that's the third act. And you're done. Everybody falls in love, and it's a Hallmark movie. This is not the case. There's a one point where she completely disappears from the film, and it's about him trying to do things that she tried to get him to do on his own, and then he's just sort of, I don't know, in poverty where he would wear ragged clothes on the street for some reason, but he still has an apartment. Then he gets a phone call to be interviewed by the driest, most non-actor person with no delivery ever. And I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. But I have a feeling that you're a special guest star that we're supposed to know, and you've never done acting before or talking, and to see you on a screen that he talks to in a laptop. So it's not even a thing where you would have gotten in a room with, they didn't pay to put you in a room with somebody so you could interact with the main character. No, they paid you to read lines from a cue card while sitting in front of a camera, and you did a video chat. So I'm not going to be really upset about this. I know I look upset, but I'm not. I'm going to forget this film pretty quickly. But so when we get to the point where somehow she comes back into the film, and she's like, "Oh, I've been doing these things," and he's like, "Oh, cool, that's great. I've done some things. Are we gonna fall in love now again? Let's kiss," and the movie's over. I'm sure I may be blacked out at certain other points. I don't know. I'm completely sober, but I don't know. I wanted to black out, but it didn't. At least I'm not aware it happened. Did this get an award? Wait, show me the poster. Wait, best director, best actress, best official selection, the Carmel International Film Fest. What? These are nominations, I'm guessing. Just looking at the movie poster, I just saw the little icons at the bottom, and it's like, what? Again, the way the camera moves, the way the actors talk over each other in a way that doesn't feel like they're in the same movie. It just didn't connect with me. I don't know why. And I guess maybe it feels better if you know fashion and industry and not comedy, or have never been in love before. I guess. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, this. I don't know. Robert Mitrotti is the director and also co-writer, I think, with Linda Howard. Yeah, and I think he shows up on a park bench in one shot, doing his cameo thing. What was his name? Alfred Hitchcock. He was doing his Alfred Hitchcock, just appearing in his own film. So yeah, this is not something I can recommend except as an experiment to see how long you last. This was actually, we've had some stinkers over the last few weeks. It's weird we haven't gotten them earlier, but this is added recently, I think. This hasn't been on the list for long. If somebody can explain to me in what way this is good and watchable, and where you feel for these characters and care about what's happening to them, let me know. I'm open to it. It doesn't, me being a critic or whatever it is not absolute. There are other opinions, I'm sure, but I just don't get it at all. And it shouldn't be like difficult to get a romantic comedy. It's a pretty simple premise. You got to throw some twists in there, a funny sidekick every once in a while to say the things that the lead does not say, but wants to. When you end on a big kiss, as you pull away, and it's a slow motion thing, so they had to stand there and just look like they're kissing for like a long time as thousands of people just scrambled around them real quick, and that's your final shot. Okay, I'll buy that. It's a good shot, I guess. But I can't say anything more. I don't think I can say anything more. I would only say try this out just because I've said not great things about it, and so you can prove it to yourself, and prove it to me that it's much better than what I thought it would be. Like I said, I don't usually poop on things this hard, and I was in a good mood. I think I bought a phone while I watched it. Bought a new phone. I'll be filming some new quality video real soon. You never know. I don't know. But yeah, let's pick tomorrow's episode and get out of this. 124. I know I want to say so much more, but, and I know I've forgotten things that I wanted to say. It's safer if you avoid it, if you can. Tomorrow's episode, this is, I believe, I don't know which part of this title is the name of the K-pop band that we'll be seeing. Kind of a documentary kind of movie, I guess, a reality thing, a concert, I'm not really sure. But this is called Our Lost Summer, Tomorrow and Together. Yeah. I don't know if Our Lost Summer is the name of the group or Tomorrow and Together. I have a feeling Tomorrow and Together might be the name of the group. I don't know. We'll find out. Our Lost Summer, Tomorrow and Together is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Thank you for sticking with me for 26 minutes. See you tomorrow.